Hey, it's Tuesday morning. It's 8 o'clock, and we got the coffee going,
I don't got
and
any
all.
coffee.
And you got your coffee? Oh, you water?
I'm
Oh, you
watering it up, man.
whoa, off the coffee?
Yeah, I got to get off the sauce this morning.
I thought that was fuel. It's
Yeah,
fuel for me.
I did. I drank I had a peppermint mocha. 'Tis the season, and but it's a cold brew peppermint mocha. Got it from work, 4 packs. Got it gifted to me on my birthday, like whenever that was. I guess last month.
Yeah.
Um, and I've been spacing them out, waiting to the holiday season because I like a peppermint mocha, but I can't drink them all the time. Man, it was good though. And I never drink cold brews in the morning. It just felt right, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Spe Speaking of cold, we are heading into winter, and I
are
mean,
we?
maybe yeah,
Are we?
not so yeah. Well, winter for the us in Texas maybe is temperatures that dip down into the upper 40s.
I hope so, man. I hope so.
But I got to tell you, this time of the year, and you remember, you're from Detroit, I'm from Chicago, and I just start thinking about days gone by, you know, what we did in a winter. And as a kid, we got through it fine. Today I go into a restaurant, and if the air conditioning is on my neck, I feel like I'm frozen. Where, when we were kids, mom used to put you out in the backyard and you looking like a little Michelin man and all, and you just stand there and the snow would fall on you and you were happy as a clam.
Well, what I really remember the most is is getting home from school, you know. If whether that be the bus or my parents or a ride, we would carpool at times. Um, Getting home from school, getting inside, having that couple minutes where you maybe connect with your parents, you change and you're back outside because number one, the window of daylight is
Yeah,
is very small, and it's a school night, so you gotta get that play on. I
right.
would go out there and I would, have a couple of my buddies, usually who we carpool with, we'd hang out in the snow. Sometimes I would be by myself and I'm like, I'm just going on an adventure and maybe I'd build some snowman. Maybe I'd build a snow fort. Sometimes I would just go sledding by myself if nobody was around. And other times I just wanted to kind of walk around in the fields or the neighbor's yard or whatever and just experience it. And then the weather, the light would go and I'd have to get back home, get
Right.
ready, eat dinner. And it was just that it was what we did on a daily basis.
Yeah, and the neighborhood I grew up in was developing. So there were still, multiple empty lots
Sure.
that were, and that became our battlefields. That
Yes.
became our playgrounds. I lived in a neighborhood where there were slight hills. They weren't, major, but you'd get a toboggan or a sled or anything, even a garbage can lid, and just go out there and slide around in the snow. But you're right. You'd get home from school maybe 3:30, 4 o'clock, and you only had that window until about 5:30 or 6. So you'd want to get out there and play your heart out as much as you could. But the kids are missing that today. They come home from school and right away just turn on the computer and you know play their video games.
Well, again, that's again, I'm going to blame the parents for that. That's all parents' fault. That's
Yeah,
not the kid's
yeah,
fault. That's not the kid. Look, Luke likes to come home, and sometimes he's a little whiny, little turd, but he'll come home and he's like, "Dad, I'll give him a snack. He get a little snack. We get his water. We'll talk about the day. Some days he's ready to roll. Let's go
yeah,
do this. Other days he wants to sit for a minute, eat a snack, watch a little. I'm okay with that. I get that, but then I'll look at him and go, "Hey, dude, let's go outside before dinner. Let's go play basketball. Let's go throw the football around. Let's go for a bike ride. Let's go to the park. Dad, I'm really tired. I don't even care. I can tell when he's really tired or he's being just lazy. So I'm like, nah, we're going outside. And once we get him outside, he's fine. We got like 45 minutes, 50 minutes, an hour. Boom, we go inside, we get dinner ready, we eat, we do our thing. But that's the parents' fault. But I think the big thing too is like winter brings on such a different element from where we were growing up and where we came from that people genuinely in Texas, in the South, don't get to experience the joys of winter other than the holiday aspect of it. But I tell them they're missing out. You just got to adapt because there's so many
Yeah.
cool things that happen at night in the wintertime from looking at the lights, from, they set up ice rinks. There's a lot of bars have these awesome bubbles. They're like snow globes, and you sit inside and drink, and you can watch the lights and I'm not even talking just Christmas lights. Just everybody decorates really cool for the winter. It's just experience, you know?
Well, we were
Oops.
more creative back in the day because we had to manufacture our own fun. One thing I remember is about half a mile from my house was the grade school we went to, and what parks would do is they would put a wood border around the basketball court in behind the school, and they'd flood it with water and make an
There you
ice rink
go.
out of it.
Yeah.
And that was our ice rink, and that's where you learned to play hockey. That's where the girls used to learn how to figure skate and all.
Mhm.
But it wasn't a rink that was built for that purpose. It was a rink that was manufactured for the enjoyment of everybody.
We would play ice hockey on the street when it was iced over.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you could
And
do
then
it. And
ice
then, I mean,
fishing.
even if there wasn't ice, you still took out the hockey sticks and the pucks, and you'd play on the asphalt.
Well, and there were just things to do. Sometimes it was fun just to, and as we got older, and I talked about this on my podcast last week, we would go to buddies' houses and would have bonfires in the wintertime and just chill by the bonfire, got your hoodie on, got your hat, maybe you're drinking some wine. I'd make some Baileys and coffee, a little JMO, a little Irish coffee.
And that was when you were
Maybe
8 years old, right?
yeah, I was 8.5, so I had to get that cream in there. Now it's just whiskey. But we would sit and hang out, and people be smoking cigars, smoking cigarettes, and it'd be snowing all around you, but you're literally in that bonfire just enjoying the winter, and it was a
Well,
good time. Or we go to the cabins and stuff.
like I said, we had empty lots, so somebody always had some plywood in their garage. So
Yeah.
you'd grab whatever tools and stuff you could, and you'd build yourself a little fort, or an igloo, if you will, cover it up with snow and everything, and crawl inside of it, and that was your clubhouse during the winter.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and the great thing about doing that is you would always like have your little secret area, and everybody knew it. Like your gang of friends knew it. So you didn't have to find out. You just go check out. I can't find them. They're outside somewhere. All right, let me go check my fort. Let me check the hill. Let me check Bishop Street. Let me go see what we got. And you would just run into somebody. Because the only people that are outside in that snow are people shoveling their driveways or crazy kids.
That's right.
That's it. And it was a blast. And we would hook people up to the back of our bikes, and we would take them, like we tie the sled up and we'd try riding the bikes and whipping it. We'd even do that
Exactly.
with cars. We would tie them to the back of cars, and the cars would whip us into yeah, totally safe.
Yeah, we had some trees there was a small park across the street, and the trees, and you just paint a target on the tree and everything, and you go out there and just make snowballs and see who could hit the target.
We
I mean,
did this
a
one.
manufactured game, and we do it
Yeah,
for hours.
absolutely. And it didn't hurt anybody.
No,
We did this thing. We had this hill in the backyard, and we moved to this our new house, and it was a big hill. And we would go on top of the hill, and we'd roll the ball, the snowball. And it was like we were building a snowman, but we just wanted one giant ball. We would try to make it the biggest ball possible. And in our minds, we're Hercules,
Right.
and we'd roll the ball, and all we would do with it is just roll it down the hill. That's it. We'd spend like
Yeah.
3 hours making this freaking ball just to roll down a hill. Sometimes it would break, other times it would just compact, and then we'd
Yeah.
get another one, like throwing it at, it was great, man.
Yeah. And we called it fun.
It was a good time. Yeah.
You know, that, I just, I get nostalgic for that kind of stuff. And think about all the really nutsy, crazy things that we could dream up and imagine, and then we'd either go out and build it or play it or imagine it or whatever. But we could keep ourselves occupied. And on Saturdays and Sundays, my gosh, while everybody else was maybe in the house in front of the fireplace, we were outside just, you know, when you had a had like this, you had icicles coming down
Hmm.
the side. We didn't care.
No, we didn't care. And we would spend those Saturday mornings, you get your breakfast, get your cartoons in, bam, outside. You might come into lunch. You might be there for lunch, or you might end up at a friend's house for lunch. We
Yeah.
don't know. I would just roam. My only thing I had to do was check in. So I had to make sure it'd been a few hours. Maybe I could call. Other times I just, let me walk back home. I got to take a leak, change my socks. Okay, see you later. And I'm back. You know what I mean? That's why I'm looking forward to this winter. Knock on wood. I hope we get it. Last winter, we got about 6 days of actual snow here in Texas, and Luke had a blast. He didn't have school for like 4 of those days. I skipped work one of the days, not because I couldn't go, just didn't want to. And we had a really good time. I'm shaking my table here. I got to stop.
Yeah.
We had a really good time, and I'm hoping we get some more of that.
Well, and I mean, what the upside to that here in Texas is that if you get a half an inch of snow, they shut down the schools.
Well, you don't even have to. You don't even have to get it. All you have to do is say snow's possible, and they're like, "Well, we're closing the school tomorrow."
Yeah, that's right. And so you get a little bit of dusting out there, and well, you out and you can play in it.
Yeah,
Do
and I love it because
the
everybody calls
do
into
the
work.
angel thing.
Yeah, that's what Luke did. Everybody calls into work 'cause I can't drive, and then they always inevitably they put me on the list. They're like, Brandon, you're on the emergency list. I go, what's that for? And they're like, well, if we can't call anybody, we'll call you and see if you can come in. I go, why me? And they're like, because you grew up in Michigan. I'm like, that's not fair.
Yeah, because that's you put that on your resume,
I
so they
know.
they they mark it. So they need the cold weather people.
Yeah, but Michigan also like does stuff with the roads. Texas doesn't do anything with the roads here.
You're right. And hey, also, didn't you see on my resume that before I came to Texas, I lived in Florida?
It's so stupid. So like, yeah, I go there and I usually like to go in on snow days because sometimes we get hazard pay, so I'll take it. Nobody's there. All I'm doing is drinking coffee. And but if Luke's home, I usually will be like, I can't get out of my driveway, man. You know,
And I got a tip for the people that are here in Texas. When there is any snow or ice on your driveway, do not put rock salt on it
stupid,
to
stupid.
melt it. Because, I mean, we did that up north in Detroit and
It's
Chicago.
different.
Spread the salt out there, it would eat through the ice, and you were fine. But here in Texas, the concrete is different, and that rock salt will eat through your concrete. So come, and we learned the hard way because spring comes around, and all of a sudden you can't figure out why you got all these holes in your concrete
Look,
driveway and patio.
guys, yeah. And the other thing to my Texas people out there, just don't drive. I don't care if you have a monster truck, you don't know how to drive an ice. I don't care if you have a big cowboy hat on, horses don't go on ice. And I also want to tell you that, when you drive on ice, you actually have to go slow. Okay.
Yes, yes.
And just as you do in the summertime or the sun, you have to use a turn signal. Okay. So,
Oh, what?
yes, I know it's confusing. Yeah. But I would like all these guys to stay home. You don't have to rush to the store to buy toilet paper. You can still poop without, rushing and buying 14 different rolls of toilet paper.
No, no. And you shouldn't anyway, because everybody has already beaten you to the store and the shelves are empty. You can't buy paper towels or toilet paper
Absolutely.
or water or anything when
Absolutely.
there's a half an inch of snow.
If they tell you the snow is coming on a Monday and it'll be there Wednesday, you got 2 days, three. Go out Monday when it's 70 outside, grab a couple extra waters and some beer and alcohol and food for the kids, and just shut up and stay home.
And then 2 days later, the weatherman comes on and says, "Boy, did we dodge another bullet."
Yes.
And you've been out, you just spent $300 on supplies, to be in the house, and the system has passed us by.
We'll see what happens this winter, guys. We hope we have a fun winter and create more memories. I recommend everybody go experience it again.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to go north in the winter time just to experience that if you never have, because there's really some fun stuff to do out there.
True, true.
All right. Go out, make it a good one. Catch you again next week. Bye.